Hello all, Vijay here. Welcome to the C Sharp tutorial. Today we will see generics in C Sharp. So we will start with day one. So we have divided in this generic tutorial into three parts. So we will start with very basic level, like from the zero level, so that a beginner can understand that what are the generics in C Sharp and use the generics concept in our programming. So let's get started. So prior to directly jump to the coding part, let's see what are the generics in C Sharp. So generics is not a new concept in the programming language, in programming. So we have the similar concept in the C++ as well named template. So this is the same concept which we had in the C++. So what are the generics basically? So when we talk about the generics, then generics are the type independent. What's the meaning of this line? Like when we usually call a function, like for example, and that particular function is taking a integer type of argument, then we need to pass the integer in order to call that particular function. So similarly, if some function is taking float argument as a float as a argument, then we need to pass a float value. So what generic says that if your method definition is same, only types are different, then we can declare a function as a generic function, and we don't need to declare so many functions one for integer, one for float, one for character. We can declare only one function, and that particular one function will work for all the types, like for integer, float, character, for all the types. So we will see in code while doing some examples. So let's get started. So basically generic concept introduced in C Sharp with the C Sharp 2.0. Okay. And the second line we just discussed that generics are the type independent. It means when we use the generics, we don't need to pass the same data type for that particular function. We can pass any data type to a function, and that particular function will work for all the types. We will see just when we will see some examples. So in third point, we are saying that generics provide the type safety, that again we will discuss when we will write the code, when we write our first generic class, and what's the meaning of third and the fourth point. Okay. But prior to start, let's understand what's the meaning of generics, how we declare the generics class in C Sharp. Okay, the syntax is same as you declare the normal class in C Sharp. The only difference is we use the angular bracket while declaring a class, and inside that angular bracket we provide a template, we provide a placeholder name. Okay, and like in most of the examples which we searched on the internet, we found that the placeholder name is T, because T is standard. T stands for template, or you can say T stands for type. So that's why usually we use T while writing the generic code. But nowadays it's a very important interview question which you can face, that while writing the generic class, whether you can pass some other placeholder name instead of T or not. So answer is yes, definitely. T is just a placeholder, nothing else. So we can give any name to this placeholder. So it's not necessary to pass always T as a placeholder name. In the first example, we declared a generic class. This is the syntax, but it's not necessary always to pass the T. We can pass some placeholder name, like I'm passing my name, for example. So we can declare a generic class like this as well. So this is very important to make sure. Please make a note somewhere. This is the question which you can face in interview. Okay. Okay. So let's get started to the code first, then we will jump to the next slide. So let me quickly delete all these things, and let me delete all these things. Okay. Now I have a plain class. Okay. A simple class program. This is a console app basically. So let's declare a class. and as always class ABC. And what I'm doing here, I am just declaring a generic class. So what I will do, I will use the angular bracket and I need to pass a placeholder name. And we already discussed we can provide any name to my placeholder. So usually we pass the T, but it's up to you. You can pass the with any name, whatever you want. Okay, so there is no limitation at all. So I am passing T because T stands for type or template. Okay, this is the standard, that's why I am passing. Okay, now let me declare a function print. Okay, and this particular function will accept a parameter of the T type. So now I have a generic class named ABC, and inside the generic class I have a generic method named print. So now if you will see this method, so there will be one question which can strike, like we have a generic method named print, then what this particular method will accept, like whether it will accept the integer type of parameter or the float or the character. So what this particular print function will accept, which kind of parameter it will accept. So like answer is we don't know yet, because this the type of the parameter will decide when we will create an object of this class. Okay, and that particular type can vary, can change according object to object, because in every object we can provide a different data type. Okay, so let's see what's the meaning of this. So usually how we create an object of our class name, object name is equal to new class name, but it's my generic class. So while creating the object, I need to pass the type as well. So obj abc1 is equal to new abc. So it is the okay. So I created an object named obj abc1, and this particular object, for this particular object I am passing integer as a data type to my generic class. So now uh, you can just think wherever you have the T keyword, because as I told you T is just a placeholder. So now you can think integer will replace all these placeholder. Wherever you T, you can think that this particular T has been replaced with the integer. So now your print method will accept the integer type of argument, because for this particular object you are passing integer as a data type. So if you will call this print method, now your print method will accept the integer type of value. Okay, let me call this. Now I'm creating another object, obj2. Okay, now this time I am calling this method for the string data type. Okay, and if I will call this, so now my print method will accept the string type of parameter, because this particular object, when I created this object, I passed string as a data type, and you can think like T has been replaced with the string for this particular object. So wherever you are seeing T, you can think it's a string now. So now calling this method, you can call this with my name, for example, or any string, whatever you want. So you can call this particular method for integer, for a string, for float, for character, for any data type. So that's the meaning of type independent. Now it's not fixed for some particular type, like for integer, float. We can call this method for any data type, but this decision will be at the when you will create the object, and for that object what data type you are passing, accordingly you need to pass the data type. Okay, so integer, basically integer, float, character are the primitive data type. So it's not like mandatory to pass only the primitive data type. You can call the generic methods for like the custom data types as well. Custom data type means like you have some class, user defined class, like you define some class, for example named a student, and you want to call this generic method for a student, so definitely you can. There is no limitation at all. You can pass any data type to your generic class. Again, as I told you, T is just in placeholder. You can pass anything to this placeholder. So what I'm doing here, class student and public, sorry, I'm not writing anything. I'm just calling this method control C, control V, and I'm creating another object 3. And but this time I am using a student as my type, because this is our custom type, the class which we created. So I am saying that this particular obj abc3, when I will call the print method, now I need to pass an object of the student class, because for the string you need to pass the string, for integer you pass the integer value. So similarly, if you are creating your object for the student type, then when you will call this method, you need to pass the object of the student. Okay, so what I am doing, I am creating a object of the student and new student, and what you can do, you can just call this. Okay, so now this particular method will work for the custom type as well. So like you can pass this as well, like this as well. You don't need to write 2 lines. Okay, so so basically this is generic. So this is how you will declare the generic class, and this is how you will declare the generic method inside that particular class. So T is just in placeholder, and you can pass anything. Okay, so let's jump to our PPT and let's check that what all other points. Okay, so this is what we discussed. This is how we create a generic class, and in above example we create a generic class named abc, and we have a print method, correct? But the same question which can strike, which can come into your mind, that what this particular t will accept, and this decision will be when you this decision basically a compiler will take when you will create this object. Okay, so here you are creating an object of the like in this line, so the same object which we created in the previous example. So this is how it will work. Okay, so now this is what we learned so far, and these are some key points and very important points which you need to remember. So you can just use just in placeholder, we can pass any data type, and we can pass primitive data type as well as the custom data type. We just in the previous example we passed the object of the student class, so we can pass anything. So in the next section, what we will see, how we can pass the multiple generic parameters, what are the constraints which we can apply over generic, and suppose you have a normal class, and if you want to pass some if you want to create some generic method in a non-generic class, then how you will create, what's the syntax. So all these topics we will cover in next section. So thank you all. If you have any question, you can reach out to me on my WhatsApp number, which I have in the first slide. Okay, here. Or what you can do, you can just simply write your questions in the comment section. Okay. So thank you all.